everyone, Trace here. Today we'll be doing some Tunisian crochet, something a little different on my channel, but it was by a request from a great friend, and I will probably do several different stitches in a series once a month or so. So this first project, we're going to make a placemat, and we're going to be using Tunisian crochet, the simple stitch and a couple other things, a basic Tunisian crochet. So what you're going to need for that is some cotton yarn, and here is a really large spool, and I believe I got this at Walmart, and so there's a lot of yarn on that one, but it is the cotton one, and a hook that is called an Afghan hook, and I purchased this at Hobby Lobby. But you can get them at AC Moore. Michaels did not have them, at least the Michaels that I go to. And so those two places, or probably Amazon, but they are called an Afghan hook. And this is a size H, and it's 5mm. And what an Afghan hook is, or Tunisian crochet, is it's a cross between a crochet hook and a knitting needle. So the crochet part is on the other end, and that has the hook to it, just like a regular crochet hook would. But the other end, and it is fairly long, so the other end has a stop off here, kind of like a knitting needle. So it's a combination of the two needles in one. So this is what we're going to be using for today. And of course some scissors, because you'll need to be cutting some off, but when you're ready at the end. But we are going to work on our actual project. So let's get started. So you want to start off using a slip stitch. And so there are many ways of doing a slip stitch. This is just the way that I do it. This is the end of the yarn, and this is the spool. And I leave a little tail and put it around my hand, and I twist, and then there's a little V, so I grab that there and I pull through. So that gives me a slip knot, and I can put my needle right in that loop, and I pull tight. So now I have my tail here and my working yarn here. So you want to start off just like regular crocheting with some chains. So I'm going to chain 60. So all you're going to do is yarn over and pull through the existing loop. So that's 1, and there's 2 and 3 until you get to 60 chains. So with Tunisian crochet, you'll be working your project from left to right, from back and forth, and also the stitches will go on and go off as you go back and forth. It's not like your traditional crochet where you're working it, you're turning your work, and you're going back the other way. This is, you're never going to turn your work, but you're going to go back and forth and back and forth. And so at this point you want to start putting the stitches on your hook. So we're going to go into the second stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So now you have 2. So you want to continue to do that all the way across the 60 stitches that you have. So you're just inserting your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, and pull through a loop, and leaving that all on the needle. So continue to do that all the way down to the very end, pulling through, leaving it on the hook. Yarn over, pull through, all the way down. So I will get back with you as soon as we put all 60 stitches onto the needle. So now I have all 60 stitches onto the needle, and it's a good thing that it's a really long needle because that's a lot of stitches, as you can see. And as you're working them onto the needle, you want to make sure that it doesn't rotate or spin kind of like that. You want to keep it nice and straight across the bottom there. So that was really simple. So the next part is to work your stitches back off of the needle. So we're going to go backwards a little bit here. And it's not that difficult. So what you're going to do is separate that tail. Here's the working yarn. So you want to yarn over and pull off. I'm going to get my stitches really close. Makes it a little easier to work with. So you want to pull through that first one, just one of those. And you want to do that at every end that you do. When you first start back on the row, you want to just do that one stitch. So then next is very simple. You want to yarn over and you want to pull through 2 stitches. Okay, and then that's basically it. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2 again. And yarn over and pull through 2. And continue to do that exact same thing all the way. And as you're doing that, as you notice, the stitches are coming off of the needle. So like I said before, the stitches will go on and off and on and off as you work back and forth. So that is basically all you have to do to go off of the needle. So just once again, yarn over and pull through 2. And if you're going a little fast and you don't know if you pulled through 1 or pulled through 2, just take a look at where you were. And you can see that there are actual 2 stitches on that last part. So you know, okay, I did that correctly. So if I had done just the 1, you'll notice that it looks completely different. And I'll just backtrack that. And it is easy to backtrack. You know, if you did make a mistake, you can backtrack that pretty easily. So now I'm back to where there are 2 there. At a glance, you can tell that that's correct. So just continue on, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, continue all the way to the very end. So I've come to the end and I have 2 stitches left on the needle. And all you have to do is yarn over and pull through them both, leaving 1 left on the needle. So now to go back the other direction and putting the stitches back on the needle, all you have to do is, you can see where there is the vertical bar that goes up and down throughout your work here. And those are the ones that you want to be working in. And they're very simple to see because they're just right at the top and they're vertical. So you want to skip that first one that's right at the very, very edge. And so you want to insert your hook into that second one. So right at the very top. It's very, very simple to see and easy to do. It's not too tight. It goes in nicely. Then you want to yarn over and pull through, and so that loop comes up back onto the needle. And that is really all you have to do. Then find the very next vertical bar, put your needle through the back of that, yarn over and pull through a loop back up onto the needle. So now I have the 3. And so just continue to do that all the way across with your 60 stitches. And I do count them at the very end, but they do work out very easily where you don't have to actually lose a stitch. That you can keep track of your stitches very easily with Tunisian crochet. And so just continue on to do that all the way to the end, and putting them back onto the needle so you'll have all 60 back onto the needle. So we are back on the other end here, the last 2 stitches. I do want to show you what to do with the very last one. There it is right here. When you're pulling that up, so I'm going to grab it, you want to grab both of the bars of that stitch, and this just helps with the edging of it, and it also helps if you add a border to it. So I'll do that again just so you can see. So you have the vertical bar here, but you want to grab the other part of that stitch. So there are actually 2 parts to that stitch, and you want to grab both of those on the needle, then yarn over and pull that up. And like again, that will just help the edging with a nicer finish. And tighten that up. So now we are back to where we have the 60 stitches back on the needle. So you just continue going back and forth and back and forth. And what I love about Tunisian crochet is that there's not a whole lot of counting involved. It's pretty simple and it works up very quickly. So you want to continue on back and forth until this whole piece measures approximately 18 inches long. And so I think that is a really good size for a placemat. And so when I'll go ahead and keep going back and forth, and I will show you how to bind off when we get to that 18 inches. And I'm also going to add a border around just to make it nice and finish it off. And you will notice with Tunisian crochet your ends will curl up just a bit. So by adding a border, that just helps it to lay a little bit flatter. And you can also block it after the piece is finished if you prefer. But it's really fun. Give it a try, and I'll be right back with you after we have the 18 inches completed to finish off the project. So we're back, and our piece measures approximately 18 inches long, and I'm going to stop at 18 inches. I think that's a really good size for a placemat. Plus I'm also going to have a border around it, so it's going to add a little bit more. So the next step after you've reached that 18 inches, we're going to do the bind off. And so we're going to go to the edge here and find our stitch. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in just a bit and show you how to bind off. So we're going to get that stitch back onto the hook. Okay, so to bind off, you're going to go into the vertical bar that is here. And you are going to, so you have this stitch that's here, and you want to go into this vertical bar, and you want to yarn over, pull up a stitch, and now you have the 2. You want to bring that first one through that one there. So you're really going through 2. So that, let me show you that again. So you want to go into this vertical bar, yarn over, pull through that and the one on the stitch, and the one that is also on the needle. So again, go into the vertical bar, yarn over, pull through that one, then pull through the stitch on the hook. So continue doing that all the way across till the very end. And I'll get right back with you. So we've come to the end, and there's only one stitch left on the end, one vertical bar. So you want to go into that, yarn over, and pull through that and pull through the last stitch there. Now you want to pull that just a little bit and you want to cut that off, giving yourself a little bit of a tail. So you're just cutting that from the spool, and then you want to take that end, and I just kind of put it through that hole, that loop, and pull tight. And so now we're going to weave that in. Now I'm going to work on a border that's going to go all the way around, and that's just because Tunisian crochet tends to roll up a little bit, so I want to add a border around so it lays nice and flat. So I'm back and I am finishing up this placemat, and I added a border around it, and I'm going to show you what I did. It's a half double crochet stitch, and it really makes a difference in the look of it, and it's helping to flatten it. And so what you can choose any stitch you would like, or you can just leave it plain. I went ahead and did this stitch here, and I used a different color, a white, an off-white, a crew kind of a color for the border here. But you can choose anything. I did try a couple of them out, and I just kind of went with this one because it was a little bit thicker. I did try a single crochet, a double crochet, but I did like this one. And you can actually make ruffles. You can choose anything you want. So I do recommend, though, when you get to the corner, that you do 3 of those stitches, just so it can arc around there and make that corner. So all I did with the half double crochet, I just have a few more left to do here, is I use the same needle, but you can switch out a regular crochet hook if you wanted to. I'm just using the Afghan hook here, but it is long and a little bit in my way, but you can switch them out or just stay with that one. So with the half double crochet, all I did was yarn over, go into the stitch, and make sure you do get both of those bars there, and then you want to yarn over and pull through. It's a little bit tight. I just kind of wiggle my hook a little bit to loosen that. Bring up a loop, then you have 3. You want to yarn over again and go through all 3 of those loops, and that's your half double crochet. So I'm just going to finish this off and weave in my ends, and I will be finished with this project. But isn't that so cool how the Tunisian crochet product that it makes is I love how it looks. It makes a really good rug or placemat, something that's nice and thick and flat. So I'm going to, of course, put some pictures in, and I hope you really enjoy this. I'm going to do a few more Tunisian crochet stitches in the upcoming months, and I'll probably work on some coasters that will match with this and different stitches. So be looking for that. So, and thank you so much for watching and subscribing and liking and commenting. And also, after you subscribe, you want to hit that bell. So you just want to ring that bell, and what that does is it will notify you of any upcoming videos that I put up. So it really helps to know what's going on in my world. So thanks so much again, and have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.